You're journaling, you're visualizing, you're affirming all the money you know you want, you need, and you desire, and yet somehow it's not showing up. Welcome to today's Aligned Business Series. My name is Acacia Thornton. I'm the CEO Legal Coach, and this is where we go live 3 times a week, answering your questions, telling you real stories, and giving you real solutions to what's going on in the world. And manifesting money, especially for entrepreneurs, is a big one. It's a loaded one. As you're going to see here, we're going to go through not one, not two, but 4 different areas where as entrepreneurs, we tend to not see all the different ways that we manifest money differently than others. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say there's a good chance the block you're experiencing is going to fall into one of these. Because what ends up happening out there is so many times we have manifesting programs designed for people that have an easier, straighter path to money. A job, for example, or a really rich somebody, family member, husband, wife, who can connect and find and attract that money in a particular way quickly and easily. As entrepreneurs, you're balancing so many more things. So this really matters. And it's not just that you're balancing so many more things. It's that you have to work on manifesting both for you and for the business at the same time. So let's take a look at these, okay? So category number 1, where you might be finding a block that you didn't realize you had when you're talking about manifesting money in your business. That is that you're trying to manifest the outcome and the source at the same time. I teach this in my Manifesting Money program for entrepreneurs day 1, because it happens that much for us. So think about this for a second. Let's say you're trying to attract $50,000. And you're saying, I want $50,000 in clients. You, in that statement right there to the universe, are saying, universe, send me $50,000 and do it this way. You're giving a mixed message to the universe. You're trying to control the how. You're also trying to manifest 2 different things. If you're trying to manifest the $50,000, do you care where it came from? Does it have to be through clients? Could it be through new sales? Could it be through a book deal? Could it be through a number of other areas? $50,000 can just be $50,000. Let the universe do the how. Where if you want $50,000 in clients, like, no, I actually want clients. I want to have more of them. I love my clients. I love doing work with clients. I've got this much space held on my calendar for my clients. I want clients. Well, you're thinking about $50,000 of clients. Instead, feel of what does $50,000 worth of clients feel like? Not $50,000 in clients. What does clients worthy of $50,000 or more feel like to you? And then work from there. Because right there, you're likely going to catch, you're trying to control the what and the how at the same time in the same sentence. Okay. So we don't want to do that as entrepreneurs. And it's something that ends up happening, right? Oh, I have a launch coming up. Okay, I want this launch to be this. Well, we don't focus on the money part. We focus on the feeling of a successful launch, and we go from there. Okay, so that's the first one. And that was one of the easier, simpler ones because it's just that. Are you trying to do both? But let's talk about blocks for a second, right? We just went through something that was about what you're trying to call in. The biggest and most work in manifesting is the removal of blocks. And when it comes to blocks, money is loaded with them. And it doesn't matter who you are. This is for everyone. And then as business owners, there's another layer. So what is that? The first is the idea of money as a need. You can't live without money. But you don't mentally and societally think the same way about money that we do about air or water, food, or shelter. Right? We see them differently. It's almost as if it's an extravagance, as if it's luck, as if it's an extra. It's not. It's part of your needs. And just as there is more than enough water and more than enough food for everyone to go around, even if we don't treat it that way, it's the same with money. There is enough for everyone. And when we start to connect with it energetically, the way we do with water, I bet you really don't think about the water or having access to water very often in your life. What if you treated money the same way? How are you internally different with your energy about water and food than you are about your energies with money? Start to explore that. Start to understand and accept money buys happiness. It does not buy every happiness. It doesn't, right? There's little moments with my dog and my family and my friends and myself that money can't buy. Money does not buy every happiness, but money is part of happiness. You want to take your family to Disney World? Sure, you could win that trip and other things, but odds are you're going to need some money for that. And that's okay. That's okay. And allowing that, because you've probably been told messages in your life that money's the root of all evil. Money can't buy happiness. Money doesn't grow on trees, and all of those things. What are those? Those are all stories other people were buying as a justification to deny you or themselves something. They were an excuse to deny themselves or you something you have a right to. You have a right to full, absolute expression and creativity in this world. Otherwise, why would you have the calling to have a larger, full expression of yourself? That's what you were created for. If you're created for that, the means, including the money, are available to you to make that your reality. Okay, so start exploring those types of things as money as a need, money as an unlimited resource, and money the same like potency and permeability in this world as water and food, and see if that helps get you somewhere. Now, the next area that I see a lot of money bottleneck beliefs in clients is that, well, where did we learn everything about money? From our parents, from the adults as we were children. Why? The adults held the money. You didn't get to hold the money. You didn't get to have the money. Maybe you were lucky enough to get an allowance. I wasn't. But otherwise, money was held hostage from you. You had to ask for permission for something. You had to be gifted something. It had to be their method and way of love or their form of stress. My parents fought over money. My parents were entrepreneurs and they had feast or famine all the time. I remember having to have garage sales for stuff we just bought 6 months ago because now we didn't have enough money to go to the grocery store. I learned a lot of money roller coaster things from my parents. Unlike other areas about water and food and shelter, which, yeah, there might have been stresses over those. Okay, we can't afford as much food or we can't afford, a nice home, but you still probably had food and a home. With money, we were guaranteed to have observed something. Usually in our early childhood, majority of our belief systems come before the age of 7. If you have to think all the way back to 3-year-old you, 4-year-old you, 5-year-old you, 6-year-old you, what were you observing? What was around you? And make a list of every belief your mother or any female persons in your life, might have been a teacher, might have been a stepmom, might have been a babysitter, whatever theirs were, write all of the money beliefs for those significant females in your life. And do the same for the males, because we have different energies within us. And so there might be parts of you that are connecting to money in one way and another part of you connecting to money in a different way. Look at what their beliefs were. Dad believed money was this, and he treated it like that, and he did stuff like that. He said things like this. And then stop and ask yourself, are these ultimately true? Is it really true that money has to be up or down? No. Is it really true that we never had enough money for anything? No, we had money for stuff. I wasn't raised rich. I wasn't raised upper middle class, but I wasn't worried if I was going to eat most days. So the way they were behaving and treating it, but also what did they do to earn it, to get it, to attract it? And I used a keyword right there that I'm going to bring and use into our next one. Is money something you earn? Is money something you work for? Or is money something you attract? Words like earn and work are loaded for many of us subconsciously. Is that the way it is for you? Do you feel you have to earn your money? Do you feel you have to earn your place? Explore these as possible mental and emotional blocks going on within you. Explore what your thoughts are with money as you as a person. What does money do for you in your life? What does money mean to you as a person? And then as a person, also ask yourself, do I feel worthy of money? Does having not enough money make me feel less worthy? There's kind of a chicken egg situation there. Sometimes we don't feel worthy of the money, so we don't get it. And then when we don't have it, we tell ourselves we're unworthy because we don't have it. Explore your worthiness, your self-worth, and how it might be tied to money. It's not tied to money. Who you are is a beautiful, amazing, created, bountiful creature that is here to do amazing things. And you know that. You know you're called for that. And that's why you want the money, to do those, to spread love, to give love, to be fully present in all that you can give to this world. You're more than worthy of all of that. So shouldn't the money that you need already be available to you to fulfill that? Yes, it is there. Money is not tied to your worth, and your worth is not tied to money. Other than you are worthy because you are, and therefore there's more than enough resources of all kinds, money included, to support you in that. So we've gone through a few things there where it is about money and us. What about being an entrepreneur is different? So we just went through those few that we had said there. Those apply to everyone, everywhere, every single person, human being in the world. But as an entrepreneur, you've got more layers. You attract your money through a business you created, you lead, you are responsible for. You might even have team members and other things that you pay. So now we want to look at, what are the money beliefs about the business? What are they? I've known some people that went on to be coaches, and then ultimately in their subconscious are like, well, coaching isn't a real job. Okay, so you want to be a coach. You're called to be a coach. You created an amazing coaching company, and then you tell yourself subconsciously that coaching is not a real job, so no one's going to pay you. Oh. I know one that I used to have in my beginning is this launch. This launch is everything. It's got to be this launch, this launch, this launch, this launch, this launch. I put so much weight and expectation on the launch. And then if it didn't happen, I felt like a failure. Was I a failure? No. I created some amazing stuff through some of those really highly motivated and inspired moments. And I've created a million funnels, or at least it feels like a million, that are just so inspired from my heart and from my space. And just because I didn't work that day the way I wanted it to, it meant something wasn't wrong with me. Something wrong wasn't necessarily even wrong with the product. Maybe it was the messaging. Maybe it was how I launched it. And maybe it just needs a little bit of time. And then the sales start to come in time, not in one big lump sum. Because sometimes that is a type of money block right there. Is money consistently flowing for you? Or is it feast or famine? Big lump sum. Shit, I'm broke again. Fudge, what do I got? I gotta get another. Okay, we're up. We got another lump sum. We got another big client. We're good. Shit, I haven't seen money in months. What the hell? That is a type of money block right there. So what are your expectations in your business? Why did you create the business? How is money expected to flow in the business? And do you have any blocks in that? Do you have any blocks about your leadership abilities as a business owner? Do you have any blocks about the type of business you have? Oh, a lifestyle business isn't going to work. There's too many in the industry, but I'm doing this because I feel called to do it. Those are conflicts, inner conflicts. Explore them, right? Okay. So as you can see right there, we went through a lot of different categories and different areas of where blocks might be. And those are usually mental or feeling type blocks. My manifesting guide, I talk about how I actually break down blocks into 3 different categories, each with 2 different types. So there's 6 types of blocks that I teach. Everybody just teaches blocks in general, and usually mental blocks. That's one. There's more. And so once we find them and remove them, though, things flow that much easier. So if you're hitting at one nail over and over and over again, it's not moving, it might be because the block is somewhere else. And that's in the manifest. Let me put that up. I'm going to put that up. But we have one more area where I see business owners. And in fact, it's not just business owners. We're taught to do this as business owners, but it's actually a manifesting block. Are you ready for it? Business planning. Business planning, because what is business planning doing? This is how it's going to go. This is what I'm going to set up. This will be the outcome of this setup. This is how things are going to go. That's a lot of control. It's a lot of manufactured manifesting, as we call it. You're telling the universe, I want this, and this is how it's going to happen. Ooh, do you ever want to be controlled like that? Do you ever want to be treated like that? Then why would we want to treat the universe and its abundance, giving, and loving and benevolence to treat us like that? It's not a very loving relationship. So how we set up our business planning can actually be part of your blocks. Did you set it up because that's how it has to happen? Because that's how it's supposed to happen? Those are types of blocks. There is no supposed to. There is no should. There's only what you are called when you are inspired and aligned with your calling. Okay? So we've got the manifesting guide out there, absolutely free. It walks through how it's manifesting is different for us as entrepreneurs. It goes through the 5 steps. I know a lot of people teach 9 to 10 steps. Manifesting can be done in 5. Actually less, you'll start to collapse them. And then it has a few different exercises in there that I work with my clients to help them unblock those blocks, right? To get you really going to manifest and see it differently as an opportunity in your business, because manifesting is a business skill, my friend. All right, now I promise Q&A. Where is it? Let me pull up my chat right now. What do we got? Hey, Emmy. Hey, Mary. How are you? Hey, Pendant Chop. What's up? Click clock. Is that what it is? Nice to see you. Nice to see you all. Thank you all for being here. Oh, there's a bunch of love in there. Thank you. Okay. Can I manifest money through multiple channels at once? Manifesting money through multiple channels is the same as saying I want to manifest money through my clients, right? Back to that opening lesson that we had today. The idea of attracting $10,000 in clients is different feelings. Do you want the $10,000? Do you want the $10,000, the $1 million, whatever it is? Are you focusing on that and letting the how go? It can come through multiple channels. It could come through one channel. But when we go and we start to say, okay, I need the money through this channel and this channel and this channel, what are we really saying to the universe? We're saying a couple things. One, we're saying, universe, do it this way. I'm in charge, not you, which is a lie. But we feel that way, right? I'm trying to control the situation, have it done this way. But we're also saying, universe, if you're trying to give it to me in another way, I'm not going to accept it. Ooh, what if the universe is trying to bring it to you in another way? Are you rejecting that because you're focusing in one particular area? Okay. So can you manifest through multiple channels at once? Absolutely. The key is for you to pick one singular focus, though. One singular focus for your energy, your mindset, so that the universe clearly knows what you're after and aligning to, and then allow it to do its part, which is to bring it to you however it finds the easiest. What if I don't care how it comes? I just want it. Perfect. That's exactly it. Then focus just on that. That's brilliant manifesting right there. You shouldn't, well, I shouldn't say you shouldn't. You don't want to care. You don't want to care how. That's a really key thing here. And I know that that's like, wait, $1 million can just show up on my doorstep? Yes. But that feels like winning the lottery. No. Here's where manifesting is different than luck. Manifesting is a co-creation. You do your part, universe does theirs. So as you're sitting there trying to manifest something and you're feeling into it, you feel what it feels like to have it, to get it, to attract it, to hold it, to live in that space. You're likely going to be inspired to have an idea, take an action, say some words a certain way. And the more you hold into that space and you behave, you take action from that inspired place instead of the business plan, instead of whatever you had set out to do. You said, come from, this is what I feel inspired to say right now. Say it. Then that is where the universe is lining you up. I had that happen once. I was trying to do something with my speaking and I was like, okay, well, let's update the website. Let's update my one sheet. Let's get together a speaker's reel. My speaker reel at that point was images. And I was like, I want a video one. So I kind of knew what to do. And then I'm starting to do this and the universe is like, no. And I'm like, but this is how you do it, universe. And it's like, no. I was like, okay, fine. After 3 days of this, I was like, all right, you don't want me to do that, even though that's what generally gets you speaking gigs. Universe, what would you have me do? And it goes, I want you to work on your training. I'm like, my training? I've got nothing going on with my business trainings right now. Like, I'm trying to focus on this. The trainings are fine. Like, they're all on autopilot. I don't need that right now. And it's like, no. Focus there. Fine. So I did. And I started to connect with different ideas and different things. My energy is different when I'm training or coaching versus, leading and speaking on a stage. There's a slight difference in my energy. And so here I was into my training energy. And then I went to go have a business meeting that had nothing to do with speaking. It had to do with trainings that I do. And but I was so fired up from all the stuff I'd been working on the 3 days prior in my trainings that I was speaking a certain way. And she stops me and she just goes, have you ever thought about being an inspirational speaker? I'm like, yeah, I am one. I've been doing storytelling on stage for years. I've been transitioning it to more inspirational. Why? Because I know people who are looking. I thought it was supposed to be done a certain way. And I wasn't wrong. It's not like updating my reel and my website wouldn't have led to things, but the universe understood something I didn't. It understood that there was somebody else in my peripheral looking for speakers. And so it made sure I was in the right energetic space, and so were they, to connect on that energetic frequency. Had I been doing the other things, I would not have spoken those words the way I spoke them. Trust me. Because I was telling a particular story. And that is how that played out. So it's okay to not care about how it comes. Let the universe do its thing, because the universe can see, sense, know far more than you can. Far more. Let it do its connections on the frequencies. All right. What if I'm getting clients, but they're not paying me on time? Ooh, there's one. Okay. Why are you attracting clients that don't pay on time? Especially if you had more than one, there's something about your energetic space that is attracting clients who don't pay on time. So start to feel into what it is to have clients at this level who pay on time. What does that feel like? And start working from that space, because something about your space right now is attracting the clients, which means it's attracting the money on paper, but it's not attracting the money into the bank account. And explore that as well. There's something about not wanting to actually receive the money. You've attracted it, but you're not receiving it. Is there a block around that as well? And if you want any help regarding that, my Aligned Clients Paid with Purpose program is exactly that. It talks about ways that we can do this on paper with our contracts, so that by the time the client even signs, you know it's an aligned client that's going to behave and treat you on your frequency levels. So that is available. But yeah, I would explore, what about the receiving, or what about accepting this type of client, right? I've never had a problem with a client paying on time. It's my vibe, my frequency. I expect people to pay on time, and they do. So it's absolutely possible. And find out what about you is allowing that. And I'm probably sure if you go through the list we did earlier, your parents, money receiving, all of those types of things, that you'll find something that'll be like the aha moment for you. What if I keep manifesting small amounts of money, but never the big amount I want? Okay. I love this one. I'm going to give you a story that actually happened not so long ago for me. So I sometimes I live in Las Vegas, and I like the idea of manifesting wins on slot machines. And so far, I've done a pretty good job. But it's not me, right? It's the universe who's telling me, go to this hotel or this machine. And I'm kind of like, oh, okay. So there was one thing that I was working on, and the universe was like, yeah, it's going to happen across the street, because there's casinos everywhere. So there's a casino across the street from me. And I'm like, no. I mean, that could happen anywhere in the country. Every machine, there's so many different machines. There's hundreds, if not thousands of them. It's not going to happen right there. And then somebody reminded me, the universe doesn't care where it happens. The universe doesn't care if the $1 million win happens at Caesar's Palace or MGM. It doesn't matter to the universe. You're the one deciding that it mattered where. or that that's too easy. How could that be? It's you. The universe doesn't care. The universe is just saying, if this is the frequency you want, I'll tell you where that frequency is happening. So if you're manifesting small amounts of money, there is no difference to the universe, a $250 day versus a $250,000 day. They're all equally available. They're all absolutely available to you. What about you is accepting a lower amount? Because it's not the universe's ability. It's not how many $250 people are out there versus the 250,000. There's something about the way you're approaching the product, the pricing, your messaging, you, right? Go back through the money blocks that we talked about earlier today and explore. Okay, you know you can attract money. You've done it over and over and over again. That's already awesome. You get it, you attract it, you hold it, receive it, bam. Now all you're doing is making the number a little bit bigger. What about that is scary? What about that feels off? What about that? And the other thing to do, and I had this happen when I started manifesting in my business, is it's not just about raising the number, but raising the number to a number that feels right. So I remember I was manifesting regularly, like $9,000, $10,000 in clients a week. And then I was like, okay, I want to do 12,000, just a little bit more, right? Just bring it up, 20% more. But I couldn't connect to that number. That just, I don't know, just 20,000 didn't make sense. I'm like, okay, well, does 13,000? No. 14? No. 15? No. Suddenly 20,000 did. 20,000 was the number. Okay. Guess what I got the next day? 20,000. I struggled connecting to 12,000, but I could connect to 20,000. So it's also not just that you're increasing, or how do you feel about that number? What about that number is phenomenal for you or not feeling so hot? And keep going. What's a number you can really get behind and to elevate them? Because it's no different to the universe. Money is just a frequency. There's no difference to the universe. Okay, one more because we're kind of hitting time, and I know you're all busy and it's Friday. Oh, I saw one more in there. What if I don't trust myself with the money once it arrives? That's your block right there. That's your block. I have a friend, beautiful, smart, girl makes money. Like she's great, single, always says she wants to attract a man, and she gets hit on a lot, like a lot, especially when she's on that dance floor. She is in her mode, she's in her vibe, and my God, she gets hit on. But then she's like, no. Oh, I went on a date with him. It's just this, it's just that. And there's always a reason to not accept what she attracted. Now, of course, not every guy that hits on you on the dance floor is you're going to, but it also comes down to whom you're attracting, what you're attracting. Why is that what she's attracting? So for you, you're possibly attracting the money. You're not receiving it. So ask yourself, why am I afraid to receive it? I don't trust myself. Why don't I trust myself with money? I can trust myself with my life. I can trust myself with my dog and my children and my home and everything else. What about money? Don't I trust myself? And it might be a block that you learned from your parents. It might be something that happened when you were a kid. Maybe you got some money as a kid and somebody yelled at you, oh, you're supposed to put that in savings, but you went and bought a robot toy. So you feel guilty or ashamed that you don't know how to handle money, as if buying that robot toy wasn't awesome. You know it was awesome. So look into that balance of what is it to have and use and be with the money versus what about it is scary. Start journaling on that. Start exploring that. Start removing the blocks from within you, and you will find your way. All right, everyone. I will see you next week on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific time. This is Acacia, the CEO Legal Coach. Have a great weekend. You've been journaling every day, and yet somehow your manifestations aren't happening in your life. Today, we're going to explore why. And by the end, you'll not only know why things aren't working out for your journaling, but how to solve it so you can get your manifestations in your life faster. Hey everyone, happy Thursday. It's Acacia, the CEO Legal Coach, and this is the Aligned Business Series where you get to ask your questions live as we talk about real challenges that business owners are facing. So make sure you find your chat button because I'll be happy to answer everyone's questions. And I see you all coming in. Hello, hello. Okay, so today is about the journaling. Now, journaling is something that whenever I hear people talk about, like, oh, that's a great idea to manifest, I want to journal about that. Or I love journaling every day. Let me do this. Okay, journaling is an amazing tool. It's one that I have used and sometimes go through phases. Well, I'll use it daily and then I'll stop for a bit. But the key is it getting you where you want, right? Is it getting you where you want, or is it something that feels good, or you're supposed to do it? You're told you're supposed to do it as part of manifesting. Let's dive in and see where things might be falling flat in that practice for you. Okay. So let's first even talk about what it is to manifest. What is it to even manifest here? Because something that ends up happening that I see so many manifesting teachers, they talk about like 9 and 10 different steps. That's overkill. That's overkill. Sometimes you can do it in as little as 2 to 3. I usually teach around 5. And I've got those in my free guide, but let me tell you what they are, okay? First, you need to decide. Decide what it is you are after. And you've probably heard that one before, because how can you know what to call in if you haven't decided? The next is to feel into that. Feel into what it is to have that. And we're going to look at how journaling plays into every single one of these today. So I'm not just giving you a manifesting overview. We are going to connect journaling to every one of these steps. But then here is the biggest thing about manifesting that a lot of people don't even teach, which I find like, how can you teach manifesting if you don't teach this step? Or people don't even know what this step is. Oh, I've heard of that word, but what does that mean? Okay. The number one thing you must do in manifesting is remove blocks. Remove the blocks. Because here's the thing, you've decided and you can feel into it, right? And that's probably taught by everyone. And what ends up happening is you've now shown your energetic and mindset the compass. You're like, here's the direction we're going to go. This is what we want to bring about. Great. And then you just keep feeling in that direction, feeling in that direction, feeling in that direction, feeling in that direction, and nothing else is happening. Sound familiar? Here's why. Because if you're meant to have that, which you are, you wouldn't have been able to think of it and call it in, then there's no reason you should not have it. The only reason you don't have it is that the route between it and you is not clear. And we call those route blockers blocks. Route blockers are blocks. So you still can't get from Los Angeles to New York if there's a massive tree in the road, right? You can't do that. If that's your only way there, you still have to remove the damn tree. And that's what it is to really manifest. Decide where you're going and remove everything that's in the way. Remove it. And this is going to be really key when we start to look at manifest journaling today. But then the last phase, the last thing in any manifesting is receiving. Calling things in is different than receiving them. Okay. We've gone through that. I just walked through 4 key steps to manifesting. And like I said, they are in my free manifesting guide if you want to get those, because there's a quicker, easier way to manifest. You don't need 9 to 10 steps. But why is your journaling falling flat when it comes to these? So let's look at each of those steps. Decide. Okay. Are you writing things that you want, or are you writing the things you're ready to have, to do, to be, to experience? A journaling prompt is not a someday. It's not a pillar that is something over there on the pedestal. It's meant to be now. So when you're feeling into it, which is step 2, right? We want to know, if I had that in this very moment, right here, right now, what does this feel like? How does this fill my heart and my chest? How does my mouth feel, my jaw? What are the words that want to come out of my mouth? What am I thinking? How does my gut feel? How do I walk? How do I stand? How does this feel embodied in my body? And when we journal those things, and there's an exercise I have in my Manifest Brilliantly program where we actually go through a whole visualization exercise, and then I have you write it down while you're in that high energy vibe, because what you've now done is you've given yourself a reminder, for one, that came from future you, but 2, it carries that energy. So every time you connect with it, you get more of that energy in that space. Right? Really, really beautiful and amazing. Yes, I will get to your questions. Keep them coming in. Yes, yes. So that is really, really empowering because now you can go back to what you wrote down. So if what you're writing down doesn't carry that level of oomph, that level of energy, that level of this is mine right here, right now as I touch it, odds are you're not really deciding or using your journaling for that. So we want to step into, if you want to use your journal for the deciding and feeling in steps of manifesting, you want to do that. That's the way you want to use it. That's the way you want it to feel. The next step is removing those blocks. And this is where most people end up falling short in their journaling, because journaling can do some of the block removal, but it cannot do all of it. It cannot. Journaling is one of many resources. In my Manifest Brilliantly program, I was like, where did I put that? It's in my Manifest Brilliantly program. I have a list where I go through, I think, over 20 tools based on what type of block you're having and how and when you want to remove that block. These are the best tools, and there's usually 2 or 3 per thing that are great for you. Journaling only comes up some of the time, and here's why. There's 3 types of blocks. 3 types of blocks. There are those blocks that come in the thoughts, and they could be our active thoughts, the thoughts that we're thinking all day, every day, or they could be in the subconscious thoughts. And journaling can be great at this one, because as you're writing out what you're thinking and what's going on, you might get down on the paper. Oh my God, I was afraid of that. Didn't see that. Or you keep writing, especially when you hit like a moment of pause where you're like, I'm done writing my thoughts. Keep going. Give yourself another like 3 minutes just to sit, see what comes up. That's usually when the subconscious starts to come to the conscious. It's like, oh, conscious stuff is now out of the way. It's on this paper. Now the threshold, the door is open for the subconscious thoughts to start coming through. And we can sometimes get those onto the paper. Journaling can be phenomenal at this. Phenomenal, right? Because you're just in the stream of consciousness. Great tool for that. But that's not the only type of block. I said there's 3 types, right? So what is the next one? The next set of blocks are what I like to call feeling blocks. And there's 2 categories in this one as well. Feeling, number 1, is sensations in your body. What do you feel when you think of this? When does your gut tense up? If the idea of the man of a really hot guy walking into the room causes your chest to flatten or feel something is there, what is your body doing? Guess what? Journaling can't tell you what your body's doing. And so what your body is doing, if they are not hell yes, 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 I am so happy and gratitude and full of joy reactions, those are blocks we want to move. Those are blocks you want to move out of the way there. Right. And I often teach the process that comes out of the book, The One Thing Holding You Back. It's a great, great book. Even though it was not taught for blocks, that is what the method I use because it seems to be the fastest. But that one, right? A journal can't tell you your gut is tensing up. It can't tell you your toes curl up when you walk into the room with this person. It can't tell you that, no matter how much you write, no matter what prompts you have. So when it comes to feeling blocks, the journal can't help you. The other type of feeling blocks are literally your emotions. I feel this way. I feel that way. And noticing as you go to carry out this action, this inspired action, do you feel scared? Do you feel this? Do you feel apprehensive? Do you feel like you're going to die? Right? Some people have the biggest fear of getting on a stage. It's just standing up and talking. And yet they have like the biggest panic ever. So again, your journal can't tell you that one, but your journal can be used once you've spotted it. Oh, that's so weird. The thought of going on stage freaks me out. You can journal to help explore the thoughts and the subconscious thoughts behind it, but it cannot identify it and completely remove it for you, right? So feeling blocks are a big one that get left out, and why journaling can sometimes help as a tool in there, but it's not going to be everything for you. So knowing when and where and how to use that. And then the other type of blocks are action blocks. Action blocks. Are you procrastinating? Are you inspired to take these actions, but not taking them? Are you doing things because you have to? You should. You don't get a choice. I have to go to work. I hate my job, but I have to go to work. Your actions. We want to take inspired action. We need to take inspired action. And so if that's not the way your actions are feeling, we go back to how they are feeling, right? So one, are you even taking the actions? Are you procrastinating? Are you in there? Are you like, yes, I got this. I'm going to take this action no matter what. And then how do you feel when you do that? Right? I was really, really gung-ho about like, I'm going to change my life back in my 20s. I came from, not great household. I had no money. And I was like, I really need to move myself forward. And I propelled myself forward. I took action every single day. But a lot of it was forced action. I did what I thought I had to do. I fought for what I thought was mine. And these were great because they eventually brought them about. However, I ended up in the hospital because I ended up taking my body down. That tension inside my body as I did those actions was slowly destroying me, which meant the whole time there was an easier, more aligned way to do it. But I wasn't listening. I was so determined. We call this manufactured manifesting, by the way. I was so determined I was going to push through. And ultimately, it breaks you. You will get burnt out. Your body might fail you. This is when you start to get disease and sick and whatever, right? It all comes through us all a little bit differently. But whenever you hear those stories, that's what's going on there. If I had ever stopped and been like, you know what? I don't even like lawyers. Why am I a lawyer? I don't like doing this as much as I like doing that. I feel more called to do these actions. Journaling could help me understand the thoughts and the subconscious behind why I was doing that. Oh, I did that because my dad was overly aggressive about these things. Oh, I'm doing that because I had read somewhere that that's what you're supposed to do. Oh, okay. And I could change my way of thinking about it, which would ultimately change how I'm going about the action. Right? Do we see that? So it's not that the journaling cannot help removing the 3 areas of blocks: mental, feeling, and action. It's that it's not enough. It's not enough. We must go into these other parts of ourselves, observing ourselves from the inside. And it's not a judgment to find our blocks. It's a self-awareness. Oh, that's weird. Whenever I want to do this, this is the outfit I wear. Or whenever I want to do this, I behave this way. I wonder why that is. And then we explore it in the journaling, right? So this is why journaling is important. It is a great key and tool for manifesting, but it is not going to do everything. Yeah. So we definitely want to get out there and go through the process of what are the steps for manifesting, right? You got your 4 to 5 steps in the guide if you want to check them out. The types of blocks, we got 3 of them. And what can we use the journaling to help us with that, but acknowledging when it's not going to complete the task. When is it not going to complete the task for you? Okay? Because number one thing in manifesting, removing the blocks. If there is nothing blocking between you and your desire, now that you've decided what you want, the universe has no choice but to bring it to you immediately. No choice but to bring it to you immediately. There's nothing blocking you, which is the power of removing the blocks. How many blocks are there? Sometimes there's only just like a simple thought block. Other times I've had to sit there for a few weeks and be like, oh my gosh, this is like never ending. But this is important to me. This is what I'm trying to call in. This is the process and why I'm doing it, because these are the things that were holding me back from where I want to be, who I want to be, and how I want to be living my life. All right. So let's get to your questions. I already see them in there. Hey, Easter. How are you? Yes, normal, loving it. Yep. James, Mary. Emmy, you're back. I love it. Great to see you back. You were on vacation, right? Yes. Love it. Love it. Okay. So questions. What do we have here? Should I journal daily or just when I am inspired? Should you do your manifesting journal daily or only when you're inspired? It's a tool. It's a tool. And we don't always have to feel inspired to use a tool, but we know it's part of the process. So what I would say there is if you feel inspired to write, write, because you don't know what's going to come out. This might be the time that it's like, oh my gosh, it's right there. I had one of these happen to me last night. I have been trying to reconcile two things in my brain, always thinking they're separate, always like I have two different brands. I run 3 different brands, by the way, and I have separate things for all of them. And then something just goes, just go write this into ChatGPT. And I'm like, okay. And I write it. And it's like, ChatGPT is like, those are one and the same. I'm like, what? So when you feel inspired, do it, right? Because you're being inspired. That is part of being called into the energetic field and being on the right frequency for what you're trying to manifest. So if that's the calling, do it, fulfill it, take that inspired action ASAP. But otherwise, be mindful about when you're doing it. Are you doing it because you're supposed to? Because you should? Are you doing it because you're like, hey, I can tell I have a feeling block right now. I want to explore it more. Now that's using it as a tool, provided you don't have resistance or another block related to that and so on. So it's a tool. It's a resource. It is not a must do. I have manifested plenty of things without journaling about them. But then I also know there are times that journaling is incredibly potent and powerful. So I always lean towards if you're inspired, but then from there, be mindful to where it's not part of your resistance block, but it does seem to be part of your answer. Do I write in present tense or future tense? Ooh, this is a great question. Okay. When you always want to write in present tense. Always want to write in present tense. So even though something might be happening in your future, right? You're envisioning it. You want to embody it. You want to embody it right here, right now. And that means talking about it, I have it. Because if I'm going to, let's say I'm trying to envision myself selling, I don't know, I'm going to do something that's not one of my, okay, I'm going to sell 17 books in 17 months. Okay, like that's crazy. But possible. Anything's possible if that's what you're called to do. So I wouldn't sit there and be like, okay, in 17 months, I'm going to feel like this. Because here's what happens. Your energetic field has a timeline. Your mind has a timeline. And if it always sees that the moment is in the future, it will remain in the future. It will remain abstract and apart from where you are in the present. Even if that present is in 2026, you want to feel that now. I had this happen early in my business. I kept being like, oh, the money's going to come in 2 months. In 2 months, I'm going to have another $10,000 in clients. In 2 months, I'm going to have another $2,000 in clients. Well, guess what would happen? I'd call in the clients and something would happen where they couldn't meet for another 2 months, or this would happen. And it just kept moving the timeline away. And I'm like, wait, I'm calling in the clients, but I'm saying in 2 months, not bringing 2 months to right here, right now. So the second I shifted that, no longer in 2 months, I want $2,000 in clients now. On or before this day, right? It's a difference of phrasing. So being mindful that when you say things in the future, you're telling the universe to keep them in the future, meaning they're never going to be part of your daily life. So always write in the present tense, whether that's envisioning what you want, deciding what you want, or even now. I am feeling scared about this. I am feeling scared, right? Be honest. That's how you feel. If you're using it to remove a block, be honest. That's happening right here, right now. So try to always keep things in the present tense, or make sure that you're collapsing the timelines in a way that you're not pushing things out. What if I don't believe what I'm writing? Then why are you writing it? Where's it coming from in you? Some part of you believes it. Some part of you wants that. So the rest of you that doesn't align to that is blocking it, rejecting it. You ever had that? I had a client, like our very first call, I was able to be like, you have a lot of dreams. You talk about bringing on a new director. You talk about doing this and that. And then you switch to, yeah, but. Oh, I want to try Facebook ads for the first time, but I hear they're so saturated. Oh, I want to bring on 10 more new clients while raising my prices, and yet I know the economy's bad. You ever do that? The ups and the downs, the ups and the downs. The ups, what you're thinking of, 100% possible for you. When we got her into alignment, she tripled her revenue. Tripled her revenue after 3 calls. Because all I said is, all these yeah buts, those are all blocks. That's all nonsense. Get it out of there. So as you're writing in your journal, where are these words coming from? Some part of you can connect to that truth. Or, okay, I will be honest, and I had this, sometimes I have to ask myself, are you lying to me? Am I lying to myself? What am I not telling myself the truth about? And hear that. And so what this might be is if you're having the words come out of you onto the paper, and at the same time, there's pieces of you that don't agree or align. This is what we call like that duality or duplicity inside of you. Part of you knows it's possible. The other part of it doesn't believe. And the goal is to heal them so they are one voice. You might know right away which voice is the one that needs healing and then which one's the one that's inspired, or you might not. The goal is to heal them so they are one voice within you, and that is going to be your alignment. So it's actually a sign that there's a block there. But yeah, those words came from you. Where they come from. How do I handle negative thoughts that come up? Oh, this is great. Okay, so negative thoughts. Negative thoughts they're really easy once you learn how to let the energy of your mind sort of calm. But at first, they might seem awkward or resistant. So depending on where you are in your practice. Any practice, by the way, it's called practice for a reason. None of us are ever going to be experts. But it's a practice. And the more you practice anything, the easier it gets. The more you go to the gym, the easier it gets. The more you show up to your job, the easier it gets. The more you wake up at 5 a.m., the easier it gets, right? Even if it feels awkward and hard at first. So the negative thoughts, write them down. Right, you've written it down in your journal because this is a journaling session. You've written it down and you look at this and you just go, is that ultimately true? Is it true that nobody wins the lottery? Right? Let's say you're trying to manifest a lottery win. Is it true that nobody wins? No, people win. Eventually, every single lottery has been won at some point, right? There's some big winners out there, billions of dollars winners out there. It's possible. So then you tell yourself, or you ask yourself, then why did I believe that? Do I want to believe that anymore? No, because I'm telling myself a lie, right? If people win the lottery, it's not true that nobody ever wins. And you just go through them all one by one. Ask yourself, is this ultimately true? And eventually, in the beginning, you're going to say, is this ultimately true? Where did this come from? And you want to explore it. Probably came from something you heard as a kid, which means likelihood it was from your parents, but it could have been from a teacher, could have been from the internet, not the internet. Well, I guess some of you are old enough that you were children with the internet. I'm old enough. I grew up without the internet until I was in grade school, junior high. Whoopsies, just said my age. The ideas of starting to find out where they come from, because when you get to the root cause, you'll get rid of them faster. But in time, you can drop that second step and just be like, is this true? No, then I'm not going to believe it anymore, and get it out of the way. Yep. I think there was one more. What is better, affirmations or journals? Wait, whatever you're called to do. Whatever you're called to do. There are times I find affirmations absolutely annoying and irritating. And then there are times I'm like, I need to say this to myself 20 times a day. I even have one right now. I went and I printed in fun, beautiful fonts and colors, and I printed it and put it in. I from where I'm sitting right here, I can see it 3 times in my house. 3 times. And I know there's more of them in the other side of the house. So I know that I need to repeat this. I know I need to really embed this. Where other times you already know it, you believe it, you just need to explore it. And that's where journaling is great, right? Journaling is great about exploring the thoughts and exploring why these are your feelings. That is what journaling is great for. But journaling is not going to sit there and affirm over and over again, I am worth it. I am love. Whatever, I am worthy of a great partner. I am worthy of a brilliant business. I am worthy of millions of dollars. whatever's yours are, that might get easily lost if you start filling in other words on the page. Yep. All right, don't forget to grab the manifesting guide. Like I said, it goes through all the different steps of manifesting. It's in there, 100% free. It also has a few exercises in there to help you launch your manifesting practice. And this is the CEO Legal Coach. I will see you all tomorrow. We are live every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern. I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great one. Do you have a vision board for your manifesting and somehow it's not having the same results you had hoped? Today's session is all about getting that vision board to help you manifest your dreams bigger, faster, now. Hey everyone, it's Acacia, the CEO Legal Coach, and this is the Aligned Business Series where we go live 3 times a week answering your questions live. So make sure you find your chat. I will be sure to answer all of your questions. But we're also talking about practical solutions today because a vision board is not just about, oh, does it make you feel good? Is it pretty? No. It is a true manifesting tool. And as you'll see here in a moment, it's more than just a tool. It's part of the process. So find your chat. We will, hey Mary, hey Bob, how are you guys? And we will definitely get your questions answered. But let's jump for a second into why does this really matter? Because I've been creating vision boards for years. And I've got somebody, one of my neighbors, she's also a spiritual coach and advisor, and she sometimes holds vision boarding sessions. And we've talked about where do we think things are going right or wrong. And she originally was just doing her sessions, and then I kind of gave her some insight. She goes, that makes so much sense. That really explains a lot. I'm going to integrate this into mine. And those are the types of things I'm going to share with you today. Because a vision board is, okay, let's take a step back for a second. Why do a lot of people create vision boards? One, we're told to. You're supposed to. It's a nice arts and crafts activity. It's something pretty to make. We get to look at pretty things. All of that is not manifesting. All of that is not manifesting. What is manifesting? Manifesting is deciding what you want and bringing it into your reality right here, right now. Right here, right now. And where a majority of the work in manifesting is not deciding what you want, but finding and removing the blocks between here and there. Finding and removing the blocks between here and there. Because if it's what you've been called to have in your life, you're meant to have it. And the only reason you wouldn't have it is there's a block. So how does your vision board play into that? First off, your vision board is part of manifesting. It's part of manifesting. It is not a step you take to help you manifest. It is not something you're like, well, I should do this. This sounds like a nice tool or an easy thing to do. Let me do that. No. For example, this is one that really had an impact on me. I'll tell you a personal story here in a second. And that is the idea of having literal images. This is the number one mistake I see people make with their vision boards. This is not about looking pretty on the board. This is not about things that make me feel warm and fuzzy. You want to have literal images, not a house that reminds you of the one you want or that kind of feels like the one you want. You want a photo of the house you want. You want a photo of the house you want. You want a photo of the couch you want. You want a photo literal. Why? Because you're giving your brain mixed signals when it's not literally what you want. Let's say, for example, you have a beautiful home on there. You're like, I love this home. This is a multi-million-dollar home. I want to manifest a home just like that. What are you doing? You're saying, universe, I'm going to focus my energy and my mindset and my subconscious on this. But this isn't actually what I want. I want this over here. So first off, you're clouding and giving mixed messages to what you're saying to the universe. Right then and there. You're also trying to divert your energy. This, but really this. That's an extra step in your energy and in your manifesting. So as you do that, you are diluting your ability to manifest. So when those pictures aren't literally what you're after, they dilute and add confusion to your message, decreasing your likelihood of success. You want literal. So if those pictures aren't literally what you want, get them off your board and go find ones that are literal to what you want. And I'm going to bring up 2 points here. First is, what about words? Are you trying to manifest the word jackpot in your life? Or are you trying to manifest the jackpot in your bank account? Are you trying to manifest the lottery win? When it comes to words and numbers, be mindful of what you're doing with them and what they're doing on your board. Numbers are fine. Numbers are one of the best ways I've ever manifested money, especially big chunks pretty quickly. But I'm also letting go of the how. I'm not saying, universe, I want $20,000 in salary, or I want $20,000 in clients. I either focus on the dollar amount, and that's the number, or I'm focusing on those clients, that product sales, or whatever it is, right? Do we see how when we're giving those mixed messages, or we're diluting those messages in what we're saying to the universe, we end up reducing our effectiveness with the vision board. Now, what if you don't know literally what you want, or you can't really find it? Gone through enough magazines and online searches and you can't find the damn thing. I've had this happen. It's actually happened with my home that I have right now. I was able to envision, I'm going to have this beautiful view, and it's going to have a beautiful skyline, and it's going to be blue hour at night. It's going to be perfect. I'm going to have a kitchen that looks like this, and a couch that looks like that, and a bedroom that feels like this. But then I had to be like, but what is that view? What is that view of? And I leaned into it more and more. And I could be like, well, it's the Vegas skyline. Okay, it's the Vegas skyline. Am I right next to the skyline? Like, no, but I'm not far away from it. I don't know. But I started creating a vision board. And as I was finding pictures, one came up. And my brain was like, you're never going to live over there. You don't want to live over there. But my heart just screamed, that's it. That's the view. That's the view from the place. And I'm like, I don't even know if that's the view from a place. That might be a hotel. I don't even know where it's coming from. But it's like, that's the view. That's the view. That's the view. And I was like, okay. My heart and my soul, my energy knew. So I put it on my vision board. 3 days later, I'm putting an offer in for a place that has that exact view. That is now my view. And it's one that my brain was like, that's not what we could think of, because manifesting isn't what you can think. It's what you're called to do, called to have, called to live, called to experience. And so this is one of the things about the literal images. If I put a general picture of the Vegas skyline, I wouldn't have actually had all the pieces together, locking and elevating me in that yes, yes, yes moment. And so that's what was very important, is knowing what I could envision and connect with from within versus the searching for those images. And that's part of when you're searching for the images. Trust the energy and the vibes. Do not think this. Your manifesting board creation, if you're called to create one, then you're meant to have everything you need to make it a success, right? It's the same as trying to manifest anything. It's not like only your dreams get manifested. Everything you do, everything you say, everything you live is manifested from you. So if your energy is in alignment to make that great board that brings that great manifesting moment in your life, well, then everything you need to make that board the way it's meant to be is right here, right now. And so notice when you can't find that picture, or when that different picture calls to you. Energetic signals might be signaling blocks or outer resistance from the universe trying to nudge you in a way that's going to make it come about faster and easier. Okay, so that's one of the first things that I end up having a lot when I work with people on their vision boards, is you want those pictures and those things to be literal. Then, of course, how you feel when you found that image. We just kind of talked about this, but it is very important to know that it's not just, oh, that's kind of nice, or that's pretty. I did this when I was, working on my style, my personal style. I noticed that I'd always find on Pinterest those really cute outfits on others, and I love the style. But when I put it on me, it didn't feel right, or it didn't look right. So I took a step back and was like, okay, well, what feels right on me? What makes me feel the way I want to feel? And let's go find the pictures out of that. And suddenly my whole wardrobe changed almost overnight. And it's been fun. It's been fabulous. It's been amazing because I feel more like me. I have noticed that I'm not judging myself or my body when I'm looking at pictures of cute, adorable outfits on people. But some people are toothpicks. Some people are short. Some people have the hourglass. Some people have the pear shape or the apple. I love me and I get to be me and I get to feel fabulous being me. So how do those images make you feel? Really, really important as you are creating that vision board, building on the first point of it being literal, building on that maybe you don't know exactly what literally that picture is supposed to be, but you definitely can feel if it's the right picture or not. And then this next one also comes from a personal story I had. It's when I went to Antarctica. And the whole point of this lesson, this third point, is, does it feel like you want it? Does it feel like a nice to have? Or does it feel like a holy fucking shit, yes, this is mine? And the story I'm going to tell is Antarctica. So Antarctica is something that in Patagonia were things I've been wanting to do for years. And I'm going to guesstimate somewhere around 7 years because I don't know when the dream really started. I just know that the dream kept getting pushed back and pushed back because I didn't have the time off. Then there was the money. And then there was all of these things. It just kept adding up. I never got to go. But then I went on my mom's bucket list trip for her birthday. And she comes back. She's like, okay, it's time to go on your bucket list trip. And my bucket list trip was Antarctica, which is not cheap at all, right? I just like, no. And if I'm going to go down there, I'm going to do it right. And if I'm going to spend all that money, and she goes, okay, it's time to book it. I was like, no, you don't book Antarctica, Mom. You leave it on the pedestal. That's my dream. That's meant to be left as that thing I yearn for, that thing I always get to dream about. If without that, what's going to fill my daydreaming every day? And this is when she kind of simply says, no, if you're supposed to go, you go. You book it. And so we booked the trip. I didn't have the money. I didn't have anything, but we sat down with the agents and we looked at the right ones and we put down the basic deposit. And now I had 2.5 years because this was happening in my life. Antarctica was no longer something I wanted to happen in my life. Antarctica was happening in my life. And that's the way you want your vision board to be as well. Because I've had this a lot in manifesting where it starts to be a wondering, am I calling in what I want or am I just foreseeing my future? I've had moments like that where visions pop into my head and then they happen that same day or that week. And I'm like, which came first, the chicken or the egg kind of a thing? Did I envision that because I wanted it, or was I being shown my future for what was already aligned to what my energy and my vibes? And we want the same for your vision board. Your vision board is not meant to be a pedestal. It is not meant to be a someday view of through the window. That is not what it is. It is meant to, this is my shit right here, right now. I'm stepping into this. I know I've locked it in because nothing can stop it. That feeling of being locked in. It's not a desire. It's not a dream. It is your truth and it's happening. That is the way you want your vision board to feel. And if it doesn't feel like that, there's either a block or it's not the right calling for you, okay? Or it's not the right calling for you. I call that your soul goal. And I have a whole program about just finding your soul goal. It's a 3-day program because so many times, I'd say about 80% of the time, people are actually going after the wrong goal. You can get to your end goal and collapse it, quantum leap it that much faster by ignoring the things between. By ignoring the things between and actually going for your soul goal, because your soul is what's meant to live through you, not your vision board, not your, daily tasks, not that, okay, well, I need you to get this raise at work so then I can do that. You don't live so you can get a raise at work. You live for why you want the raise at work. Where does that lead you? That's what matters. And then you start to question, did I ever need the raise at work to begin with? Most of the time, no. And if you are meant to, you'll get it automatically. Had that happen in less than 10 days before. So this is why it's really important to realign your vision board. Realign it. Toss out the pieces that don't be literal, right? There's not a sentence, but if they're not literal, toss them. Toss them. They're sending mixed messages. That includes words, numbers, anything, unless it's literally what you are after, right? How did you feel when you found the image? Did you like, yes, I'm locked in. That's the one. That's the one. That's what I meant to have. And then what does it feel like? Is it still the someday? Is it still because what you're doing is reinforcing it to stay off in the distance. Someday is not a day on the calendar. It's not like, oh, someday 2026. That's not a day on the calendar. So someday vibes are not allowed in manifesting. We don't want them. They're not part of manifesting. So I've got my manifesting guide on the screen. It's absolutely free if that's something any of you want. It goes through all of this type of stuff. It's not designed for vision boards, although it does comment on them. It's got some of these notes in there. But what's really important is that as business owners, we manifest differently. We understand certain things about how to bring a vision about. We already feel so called to bringing our passions into the world. We created a company. But then we also have so many different areas of energetic balance we have to take on. So we manifest very differently in how we use and align our energy. And that's what that guide is designed to do. All right, are we ready for our Q&A? I see some of them on there. Let's get to them. Sarah, what if I can't find the exact image I have in my head? Okay. What if I can't find the exact image? Either you have a block about making your manifesting board, your vision board, right? Because you're manifesting all of this. You're manifesting the lack of image. So either you're looking for the wrong image and the universe is trying to show you that, like, hey, that's not really what you're after. You're after something like this. Just like with my Vegas view. I'm like, that's not what my brain would have said I was looking for. But the second I saw that image, I was like, that's the one. And sure enough, that's what come about in my life that week. So if you can't find the exact image, it's either some part of you that doesn't believe it, which I doubt it because you're just looking for images, or it's the universe giving you little images that, let go of trying to hold on to that so tightly and see if there's something else beyond it or more enhanced to it that you didn't realize you were actually being called for. Can I use words instead of pictures? It's not that you can't use words. It's what are you trying to manifest? Are you trying to literally manifest that word? Or is that word a communication to your subconscious? What are you doing with the word? Why is it on the board? What's the connection to it? Because a vision board shows the mind and the subconscious what you want to appear. So having the word jackpot or lottery winner doesn't actually make you tell your subconscious you want to be the jackpot winner or the lottery winner. That would be a different vibe. That would be a different visual of what's going on around you, a different feeling inside. Where at the same time, if you need to tell your subconscious love is real, then it's okay to have those words on it. Love is real, love is real, love is real, love is real. So when it comes to sort of an affirmation, that is okay. But also realize an affirmation is going to have a different energy than what you're literally trying to call in those images. It's all about your energy. So I don't want to step in and answer your energy is this, but trust your energy. How does it feel? Why is the word there? And go with that. Trust that, especially if you can put an actual vision of what you literally want, that will be more potent 9 out of 10 times. What if I feel resistance when I look at my board? Okay, we feel resistance. That is a huge cue right there. Huge cue right there. So what is the resistance? Is the resistance maybe your subconscious or your energy telling you this board isn't right? Maybe you've made a board that you thought was supposed to be done. or one that made sense the day you made it. Maybe it was an arts and crafts project and that was cool. That was fun. But that doesn't mean you have to literally look at it every day, all day. Ask yourself, what about this doesn't feel right to me? And just sit there and listen. Just hear the message. It might be one of the images is off. It might be you're not supposed to use a vision board right now. It might be there's a different route to how I want you to go. This is what your soul is speaking to you here. So it's feedback. But we also want to remove any blocks, any resistance vibes we have in our lives. So it's also something that you want to get rid of ASAP, because you don't attract what you want if you know you're resisting it, or there's something about your day-to-day life that is resisting your success. We want to remove that. That's a block. That is a block. Get it out of there. And I would normally do that by listening to my heart. Just give yourself, sometimes that answer can come up in like 3 seconds. It doesn't take like a full day of meditating to answer that, especially if you already feel it. It means your brain doesn't want to hear it. So give the brain a little break. Say, thank you, brain. I love you. You've been amazing. But right now I need to hear the rest of me. It's got a message that I think is important for us. And then see what your body and your soul say. How many images should I have? Okay. How many images should you have? What does it take to be potent? If one image is all it takes to be potent, then have one image. Because, and I think I saw this question earlier. Let me see if it's still in there. When you have a lot of busyness on your board, you're, again, shifting your energy in all these different places. You're saying this and this and that, and the universe is like, wait, what do you want right now? It's like having a Christmas list of 45 things instead of being like, I can give you 7 right now. Which are the 7 you want right now? Now, of course, manifesting, the universe will give you anything and everything at all times. So I don't want to say that the universe is more powerful than Santa Claus. But the idea is you don't want the chaos. Manifesting is streamlining. The whole point you made your vision board was to be more effective, to streamline, to increase your potency and effectiveness. That's what you want to do. Okay. So that's what's important here. The second it starts to be too cluttered, get it out of there. Focus. Because sometimes it is a lot easier to focus on those 1 or 2 images, get them, and then put the next layer in. So feel into that. What is that? It's not about quantity, but being mindful of the energetic impact it's having. Sometimes surrounding us with something can elevate it more, but other times it can feel like chaos. Everyone's minds are different. What does it feel like to you? Should I make separate boards for different areas of my life, like love, health, career, and money? You're not trying to have just this career and just this money and just this health. You're trying to build a life, a lifestyle. They are not mutually exclusive from one another. I bet when you're healthier, you're going to feel happier and more confident. You're probably going to wear different clothes and feel different in those clothes, which is going to make sure you have a different type of job and career and success. And they all work together. The different parts of your life are not mutually exclusive. And so back to the overwhelming the energetic lines. If you're like, hey, I want this page is all about success. And then this page is all about my health. It's different vibe you're sending to the universe, even though it's collective. You want a vision board that represents what you're after right here, right now. Back to the literal images, lock it in, take it off that pedestal. How do those images make you feel? You should have a collective vibe for your lifestyle, for your life, not this is my career, this is that. They're not separate in your life. Therefore, I would recommend trying to do it collectively. And it'll also probably help you find those superfluous pictures as well. Like, oh, maybe that part of the health really isn't part of the bigger picture for me. This is.
Or like I said, when I was, doing my styling and my outfits, it's like, you know what? That doesn't really fit into this vision for my life. We can leave that off the page now. So allow it to be collective in your life, because you want an elevated life that makes you happy and is abundant and full of love and laughter, not one that is one thing at a time, right? All right, I think I got everyone's questions right. I love it. I love it. All right, guys, this has been Acacia, the CEO Legal Coach. We go live every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. I will see you there.